There are moments in life when everything seems to collapse. When the doors you thought would open stay firmly shut, when the people you trusted walk away, and when your strength finally gives out. It's in those moments that a quiet voice inside your heart whispers, "Turn to Allah." You see, the real test of faith is not when everything is working in your favor. It's when your plans fail, your heart breaks, and your path disappears. That's when reliance on Allah becomes more than a phrase, it becomes your survival. If you've ever wondered how quickly your life can change, remember this: Allah can rewrite your story in a single night, in a single dua, in a single heartbeat. But for that to happen, you must first trust completely, not halfway. Not when things make sense, but fully even when they don't. True reliance on Allah begins where your own strength ends. It is not a sign of weakness to surrender. It is a declaration of wisdom. When you finally stop struggling to control every outcome, you begin to understand that peace lies not in power, but in submission to the one who truly holds power. The greatest illusion in life is that you are in control. You plan, you prepare, you dream. Yet life often unfolds in ways you never expected. There are moments when your efforts seem wasted, your prayers unanswered, and your path uncertain. But in those moments of exhaustion and defeat, if you pause and let go of your fear, you begin to feel something extraordinary. The quiet, unshakable strength that comes from trusting Allah completely. Surrendering to Allah does not mean giving up. It means giving into divine wisdom. It is recognizing that Allah knows what you cannot see. Sometimes He closes a door to protect you from what is behind it, and sometimes He delays an answer to prepare your heart for something greater. When you learn to rely on Him, you stop chasing the world and start attracting peace. You begin to see purpose in pain, lessons in loss, and beauty in waiting. Every difficulty becomes a bridge toward a deeper connection with your Creator. This surrender is not passive, it is active faith. It is waking up every day and saying, "I don't know what today will bring, but I trust that whatever happens is for my good." The world teaches you that success comes from control, planning, and effort. And while these are important, they are nothing without divine blessing. You could chase opportunities endlessly and still find your heart empty. Or you could hand your affairs to Allah and watch how things begin to align perfectly without struggle. That's the secret of Tawakkul. To do your part but never depend solely on your part. To work hard but know that results belong only to Him. It is freeing yourself from anxiety because you understand that nothing slips past His decree. The job you didn't get, the person who left, the dream that didn't happen. Each was written exactly as it was meant to be, and each carries a hidden mercy. When you truly surrender, your heart becomes light. You no longer drown in the waves of worry because you know who controls the ocean. You no longer beg creation for help because you are connected to the Creator of all things. The storms may not stop, but your soul learns to rest even within them. That is power. The power of surrender. You walk through life with a calm certainty that whatever is meant for you will reach you, and whatever is not meant for you will pass you by. No matter how much you chase it, you realize that your only task is to stay sincere, keep praying, keep believing, and keep moving. The rest is not your burden to carry. And when you rely on Allah with full conviction, you witness miracles. Doors open without knocking. Paths appear where there were none. Hearts change, opportunities rise, and peace fills the space that once held fear. That is not coincidence, that is divine orchestration. Allah responds to those who surrender to Him, not with what they want, but with what they truly need. And often, when you finally let go of what you thought was best, He gives you something far better. The pain that once felt unbearable becomes the very reason your faith deepened. The loss that once broke you becomes the lesson that rebuilt you. That is the secret power behind surrender. It transforms your heart long before it transforms your situation. So do not mistake reliance for weakness. It is the strongest stance a believer can take. When you let go of control, you are not losing. You are aligning yourself with the one who never fails. Every worry you hand over to Allah is replaced with serenity. Every burden you release is replaced with strength. Every moment of surrender becomes a step closer to freedom. Because when you stop fighting life and start trusting Allah, you no longer live in fear of tomorrow. You live in the certainty that whatever comes will carry His wisdom. And that realization changes everything. It gives you the courage to walk through uncertainty with peace and the strength to smile through trials, knowing that the author of your story never writes a wrong chapter. Faith in the midst of uncertainty is the most profound expression of trust in Allah. It is easy to believe when everything is falling into place, when your plans succeed, your prayers are answered, and life feels smooth. But the true essence of faith is revealed when everything seems to fall apart. When your heart breaks, when your efforts fail, and when your path grows dark, that's when your belief is truly tested. In those moments, Allah is not absent, He is closest. He is not punishing you. He is preparing you. What feels like a dead end is often the beginning of something greater, something your eyes cannot yet see, but your soul can sense if it stays patient. Uncertainty is one of the most powerful tools Allah uses to draw His servants closer. If everything was clear and easy, there would be no need for reliance, no room for prayer, and no growth in the soul. It is in confusion that you learn to listen deeply to your heart. It is in fear that you learn courage. It is in waiting that you learn surrender. Every trial you face is designed to strengthen your trust, to polish your faith until it shines beyond doubt. When Allah delays something you want, He is not denying you. He is teaching you to detach from the illusion of control and to lean on Him instead. Many people confuse faith with comfort. They think believing in Allah means life will always be calm. But faith does not promise an easy road. It promises the right destination. The path of faith often includes pain, uncertainty, and loss, not to harm you, but to purify you. Allah tests those He loves most, not because He wants them to suffer, but because He wants them to grow strong enough to carry the blessings He plans to give. The seed cannot grow without being buried in darkness first. Likewise, your faith cannot mature without being tested by uncertainty. When you face moments where everything feels impossible, remember that Allah never leaves you in confusion without reason. Every unanswered prayer, every door that closes, every delay, each one carries divine wisdom. Maybe that job you lost was saving you from corruption. Maybe that heartbreak was saving your heart for something purer. Maybe that waiting period was shaping your soul for a blessing that will last a lifetime. When you look at life through the lens of faith, even your setbacks begin to look like signs of mercy. There is a quiet strength that comes when you learn to say, "I don't know what's happening, but I trust Allah." That single sentence can transform despair into peace. It shifts your focus from "why is this happening to me?" to "what is Allah teaching me through this?" That is the power of faith. It changes your perception of reality. You stop fighting the uncertainty and start walking through it with grace, knowing that Allah's plan is always superior to yours. And even if you cannot understand it now, one day you will look back and see that everything unfolded perfectly according to His wisdom. Sometimes Allah will strip you of things you love to show you that peace does not come from possessions, relationships, or achievements. It comes from Him alone. He will take you through moments where you feel powerless just so you can experience His power. When the world turns its back on you, it's a sign that you are meant to turn your face toward the heavens. In those lonely, uncertain moments, you will find a love and clarity that no worldly success could ever bring. Faith in uncertainty is not about pretending to be strong. It is about acknowledging your weakness and still choosing to trust. It's about crying in sujood and still saying, Alhamdulillah. It's about walking in darkness with tears in your eyes and still believing the light will come, because it will. And when it does, you will realize that every moment of fear, doubt, and waiting was not wasted. It was building you, purifying you, and preparing you for the life Allah always intended for you. So when you find yourself lost, unsure, or broken, hold on to this truth. Allah never abandons the believer who keeps faith alive in uncertainty. The night may be long, but dawn always comes. The pain may be sharp, but it will lead to healing. And the uncertainty that once scared you will become the very place where your heart learned to rely completely on the one who never changes. That is faith, to stand firm when everything around you is shifting and to whisper in your heart, I trust you, my Lord, even when you cannot see the way forward. There are times in life when you feel like you've reached the end, when every door has closed, every effort has failed, and every ounce of strength within you has been exhausted. You sit in silence, wondering if your situation will ever change. You question, how much longer do I have to wait? Yet in that very moment of hopelessness, Allah is preparing something beyond your imagination. He does not need months or years to transform your life. He can change your destiny overnight. One command from Him, one moment of divine mercy, and the story of your life can shift completely. That is the power of His will. What seems impossible to you is effortless for Him. When you understand this, despair begins to fade. You stop measuring possibilities through your own limited vision. You stop believing that time, people, or circumstances define your future. You realize that Allah, the one who created time itself, is not bound by it. He can turn your tears into blessings before the morning comes. He can replace your fears with peace in an instant. He can elevate you from darkness to light faster than you ever thought possible. And sometimes He does it when you least expect it, just to remind you that control belongs only to Him. The concept of an overnight change is not a fantasy. It's a reflection of divine power. Look at how the world itself operates. The night can be filled with storms, yet by dawn the sky clears. A barren tree can suddenly bloom after a single rainfall. The dead earth comes to life with one drop of mercy. In the same way, your soul, weary and burdened, can be revived by one moment of connection with Allah. A single sincere dua whispered from a broken heart can shift the entire course of your life. You may not see how it's happening, but in the unseen, the pieces are already moving. The problem is not that Allah cannot change your life. It's that we often lose hope before the change arrives. We assume the delay means denial, but Allah never forgets. His timing is perfect because He knows exactly what you need, when you need it, and how it should come. He delays not to hurt you, but to protect you. He withholds not to punish you, but to strengthen you. And when the moment is right, everything aligns effortlessly. The same problems that seemed endless dissolve. The same pain that felt unbearable becomes your greatest source of wisdom. And the same emptiness that once consumed you is filled with peace. That's how Allah works, suddenly yet perfectly. Think about the countless stories of those who faced the impossible. People who had nothing, no wealth, no status, no support, and yet Allah lifted them in ways no one could have predicted. They went from despair to dignity, from trials to triumphs, from tears to gratitude. Their circumstances didn't change slowly. They shifted suddenly because when Allah decrees, no force on earth can stop it. You might think you need years to recover from your pain, but Allah can heal your heart in one sincere moment of repentance. You might think success will take decades, but Allah can open a door overnight that was closed your whole life. So never limit Allah's power by the size of your problem or the length of your waiting. Your struggle may have lasted for years, but your relief could be moments away. Your pain may feel endless, but your breakthrough might be closer than your next prayer. The one thing you must do is continue to believe. Keep your heart open. Keep your tongue moist with remembrance. Keep your faith steady even when your world is shaking. Because the test of faith is not about how long you wait. It's about how you wait. And when that overnight change comes, and you will look back and realize that every delay, every tear, and every sleepless night was not a punishment, but a preparation. Allah was shaping you to receive what you could not have handled before. He was teaching you patience, humility, and trust, so that when the blessing arrived, you would recognize its true value. That's why sometimes He doesn't change your situation immediately. He changes you first. And once you're ready, He changes everything else. So remember this truth: the same Lord who parts seas, who brings the dead back to life, who turns darkness into dawn, that same Lord can change your entire life overnight. You don't need to see how, you just need to believe that He can. Your task is not to predict the miracle, but to prepare for it. Keep walking, keep praying, keep trusting, because the night of despair always gives way to the morning of divine mercy. One moment, one decree, one act of faith, and everything can change. That's the promise of the one who says, "Be," and it is. There are moments in life when desperation consumes you completely. When the weight of your worries presses so heavily on your chest that even breathing feels like a struggle. You've tried everything, every effort, every plan, every path, and nothing seems to work. You cry, you plead, and still silence greets your prayers. In those moments, the heart begins to whisper, "Has Allah forgotten me?" But that whisper is not the voice of truth. It is the whisper of despair. The truth is, Allah never forgets a heart that turns to Him sincerely. He never ignores a soul that seeks His help. Desperation is not the end. It is the beginning of divine direction. When you are desperate, you are stripped of all illusions of control. You finally realize that no human being, no amount of wealth, and no worldly power can bring you relief. It's in that raw, broken state that your heart becomes truly alive, because it begins to seek the only one who can help. Allah loves those moments, not because He enjoys your pain, but because He knows that in those moments you are closer to Him than ever before. When your heart cries to Him with sincerity, your voice reaches where no other sound can go, directly to the throne of the Most Merciful. You see, what you call a breakdown, Allah calls a breakthrough. What you see as the end, He sees as the start of your transformation. When everything falls apart, it's not because He has abandoned you. It's because He is redirecting you. Sometimes He removes what you rely on so you can learn to rely on Him alone. Sometimes He blocks the road you wanted so that He can lead you toward the road you need. Every disappointment, every loss, every unanswered prayer, all of them are signs pointing you back to Him. He doesn't always answer in the way you ask, but He always responds in the way that is best for you. Think about how beautifully Allah transforms desperation into direction. The heart that once wept in confusion begins to find clarity. The soul that once felt lost begins to see purpose in its pain. The same tears that once symbolized weakness become a source of strength. This is not coincidence. This is divine mercy in action. Allah uses hardship to guide, not to destroy. He allows storms not to drown you, but to wash away the illusions that keep you distant from Him. Every time you fall to your knees in helplessness, you are actually rising in faith. Desperation teaches you what ease never could. It teaches humility, sincerity, and absolute trust. It breaks your pride and builds your soul. It reminds you that your heart was never meant to depend on this world, But on the creator of it, when you have nowhere else to turn, that's when you finally turn to the one who was waiting all along. And once you do, you begin to see the subtle ways he was guiding you even in silence. Maybe he delayed that answer so your faith could mature. Maybe he allowed that pain so your heart could soften. Maybe he closed that door because beyond it was harm you could not see. When you begin to trust this wisdom, your desperation becomes your greatest blessing. And the most beautiful part, when Allah finally answers, and he always does, the relief feels even deeper because you know it came from him. You realize that what you thought was a delay was divine timing. What you thought was rejection was protection. What you thought was silence was mercy in disguise. The same tears that once fell in frustration now fall in gratitude. Because you see the perfection of his plan. You understand that the pain was not random. It was tailored specifically to bring you closer to him. So when you find yourself in despair, don't give up. That pain is not a punishment, it's a calling. It's Allah telling you, come back to me. Let your desperation push you toward dua, not doubt. Let it lead you to prostration, not panic. Keep your heart open, your tongue moving with remembrance, and your faith firm even when you can't see the way forward. The moment you say, why Allah? With complete sincerity, the doors of mercy begin to open. You might not see it instantly, but in the unseen, your prayers are already being arranged. Your path is being cleared, your heart is being healed. One day, you will look back and realize that the very moment you thought you were breaking was the moment Allah was building you. You will see that your desperation was not the end, but the divine direction you needed all along. So don't run from it, embrace it. Cry, pray, trust, and keep walking. Because when Allah guides you out of your darkest moment, you will understand that every step of your pain was a step closer to His love. There are moments in life when you feel like you've waited far too long for something to change. You've prayed, you've worked hard, and you've done everything in your power, yet the outcome remains the same, silent. You look around and wonder why others seem to be moving forward while you're still standing still. The waiting becomes heavy, and your faith begins to tremble. But it is in those exact moments that you must remember Allah's timing is never late. It may not match your schedule, but it always matches His wisdom. Every delay, every pause, every unanswered prayer, it all carries meaning. Nothing in your life happens by accident when Allah is in control. You see, humans are impatient by nature. We want things now, immediately, without delay. But Allah is the one who knows the unseen, who sees what you cannot. When He delays, it's not to punish you, it's to prepare you. Sometimes you're asking for something that, if given too early, could destroy you instead of benefit you. Sometimes you're longing for a door that, if opened at the wrong time, could lead you away from what's good for your soul. Allah holds back not because He doesn't love you, but because He loves you too much to give you something before you're ready for it. His timing is perfect because His knowledge is complete. When Allah withholds, He is teaching you patience. When He delays, He is refining your trust. When He seems silent, He is strengthening your connection with Him. The waiting period is not wasted time, it's sacred time. It's the time where your faith is tested and purified. It's the time where your heart learns to say, even if it hasn't happened yet, I still believe. That kind of faith, the one that continues to hope even when everything appears stagnant, is the faith that Allah elevates. He does not forget those who wait with trust in their hearts and gratitude on their tongues. Sometimes you think you're ready for a blessing, but Allah knows you're not. He knows that if He gave it to you now, you might lose yourself in it. So instead, He withholds to shape you, to grow you, to make you capable of carrying that blessing without arrogance or neglect. Every difficulty you face while waiting is building the strength you'll need when the answer finally comes. You are being molded into the version of yourself that can handle what you've been asking for. That's not delay, that's divine preparation. And then there are times when Allah delays not because of you, but because of others. Maybe the right people, the right circumstances, or the right environment are still being aligned. You see only your side of the story, but Allah is weaving a much bigger picture, one that involves many lives, many lessons, and many moving parts. When everything falls into place, you'll look back and realize that every not yet was a wait. Something better is coming. This is the beauty of Allah's timing. It teaches surrender. You stop trying to control everything and start trusting the one who controls everything. You stop rushing and start resting in His decree. You learn that peace doesn't come from getting what you want, but from believing that whatever Allah decides is best for you. And when that belief settles in your heart, you begin to see life differently. The delay no longer frustrates you. It humbles you. The waiting no longer weakens you. It strengthens your faith. And when the moment finally arrives, when Allah decides that it's time, everything falls into place effortlessly. What once felt impossible becomes reality. What once seemed distant arrives suddenly. That's when you realize how beautifully He works behind the scenes. You understand that if it had come any sooner, you wouldn't have appreciated it. If it had come any later, you might have lost hope. But it came exactly when it was meant to. That is divine perfection. So, whenever you find yourself waiting, remember this: Allah is never late. His clock does not tick according to yours. He is preparing your blessing, preparing your heart, and preparing your path. Every second of patience is recorded, every tear is counted, and every moment of trust is rewarded. When the time comes, His decree will unfold in a way so beautiful that you'll forget how long you had to wait. And then, with tears in your eyes and peace in your heart, you'll say, Subhanallah, now I understand why it took so long. That is the moment when trust turns into gratitude and waiting turns into worship. There comes a point in every believer's life when they must face a simple yet profound truth. Your plan will never outshine Allah's plan. You may spend years designing your life, choosing your career, your goals, your relationships, only to watch those plans fall apart in ways you didn't expect. And in those moments of disappointment, confusion, and heartbreak, it's natural to ask, why did this happen? But if only you could see the unseen, if you could glimpse the wisdom behind every twist and turn, you would drop your worries and say with full conviction, Alhamdulillah, Allah's plan was better. Often, the plans you make are rooted in your limited perspective. You choose what seems good to you, what feels comfortable, what appears successful in the moment. But Allah sees beyond your now. He sees how every choice will shape your soul, how every path will affect your future, and how every desire may either elevate or harm your faith. What you think is good for you may be a hidden test, and what you think is bad for you may be your doorway to greatness. Allah says that you may dislike something while it is good for you, and love something while it is harmful for you. And He knows why you do not. That verse alone should reshape the way you view every setback in life. When something doesn't go your way, a job lost, a relationship ended, a dream shattered, you often focus on the pain of what you've lost. But if you trust Allah, you begin to see that His denial is not rejection, it's redirection. He's not saying no. He's saying, I have something better. Sometimes that better isn't about what you get, but who you become. Sometimes the purpose of the plan falling apart is to bring you back to Him, to awaken your heart from heedlessness, or to strip you from the illusion that you control your own destiny. Through the very pain you want to avoid, Allah often grants you the strength, clarity, and humility you've been praying for, just in a form you didn't expect. The truth is, if life went exactly according to your plan, you would never grow. Comfort doesn't build faith. Hardship does. Ease doesn't shape character, patience does. Allah's plan often includes both sunshine and storm because both are necessary to produce growth. Just as a seed must be buried in darkness before it can rise towards the light, your soul too must endure challenges before it can truly awaken. The disappointment that once made you cry may be the very reason you turn back to Allah with sincerity. And when that happens, when your heart realigns with His will, you begin to see beauty even in what broke you. There will be times when Allah's plan seems confusing, even painful. You'll feel lost as if everything around you is falling apart. But remember, construction always looks messy before it becomes beautiful. The chaos you see is part of His perfect design. What you call ruin may actually be renovation. Allah is rebuilding your life in a way that fits your destiny, not your desire. So don't fight His plan, flow with it. Every door that closes is meant to push you toward the one that truly belongs to you. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment carries divine purpose. Nothing is random when Allah writes your story. And then one day when you look back, you'll realize that every wrong turn was actually the right one. Every unanswered prayer was mercy in disguise. Every heartbreak was a lesson. Every delay was protection. You'll understand that Allah's plan was never about punishing you, it was about positioning you. He took away what wasn't meant for you to make room for what was. He delayed what you wanted to give you what you needed. He allowed you to break so He could rebuild you stronger than before. So when things don't go according to your plan, don't despair. Remind yourself that Allah's plan is written with perfect wisdom and infinite mercy. What's meant for you will find you, not sooner, not later, but exactly when the time is right. Your job is not to understand every detail, but to trust the author of your story. Because one day when all the pieces fall into place, you'll look up and say, Subhanallah, every twist, every turn, every tear, it all led me here. And in that moment, you'll realize that Allah's plan was never just greater, it was perfect all along.